Since Kevin Hart bailed from the Oscars, the awards show is desperately seeking new options, including going without a host at all. Now, think about that. The Oscars looked around at all the possibilities in their own inoffensive, morally pure industry, and they decided, you know what? It's just not worth it. We're all jerks, clowns, sinners, bigots, and pigs. And, of course, we're petrified of the mob, meaning they're actually human. And just as every human has a skill or talent, we all have a past or a life, one worth more than a tweet. But for some, a simple, dignified apology will never be enough. The moral majority is now the mobbing morality, and forgiveness is viewed as an accessory to evil. And the Oscars is responding the way everyone does now, to be so gun-shy about the social media fallout that they just give up and give in. No one wants to share the risk. So nothing too edgy. And humans are just that in the face of unforgiving hordes. So after decades of filling that hosting position, humans need not apply. So who then? How about Deep Blue, the chess-playing computer? It's cold, faceless, and never told a joke, offensive or otherwise ever, much like Seth Meyers? Or how about a drone, something that can drop a crude joke from on high, then completely disappear, like Michelle Wolf? But whoever they pick will be hosting the show from under a rock, or under the rock, unless, of course, they find someone with guts who's not afraid of courting scandal. Who could that be? That's my choice, but, you know.
I'll take the risk. That's what he said.
Yeah, I'll take the risk.
I'll take the risk.
People don't want to take the risk, so it's like even the Oscars to me is like any business. They're like, you know, we don't want any trouble, you know, and they step away, and then they just kind of like.
Talk about picking up your ball and going home.
Yes.
Basically, that would mean, though, that we wouldn't have to do a show about the Oscars to talk about movies we haven't watched.
Right, that's true. Whenever we do a segment, we pretend that we actually watched. No, we don't pretend. We don't pretend at all.
I also remember, it was just like 2 weeks ago that Joe Behar was frustrated at the Country Music Awards because they didn't make it political.
Right.
So you can't have said anything offensive. But you could say something political as long as it's offensive to half the country.
Exactly. That's the point I should have put in my monologue. Damn it!
I thought it was a very good monologue. One of your best, actually.
Oh, thank you.
I think you should probably take more days off to refresh yourself, because coming up with monologues day after day after day, that's why you get the thin ones once in a while. This one was good. This one was really good. I don't really have much to add. I will say this. People in film and art and Hollywood, these are supposed to be the creative, edgy people with expression and not afraid to take risks. And they're the most uptight squares ever. They've ruined the Oscars. They did the same thing with the White House Correspondents' Center. It got too edgy for them. They blew it, and then now there's a historian up there instead of a comedian.
No,
Political correctness is literally ruining comedy. Has anybody ever said that before?
I don't know. I think
I just coined that.
I think you did. Morgan, why don't they, you know,
I'm
they have
glad
this.
you remembered my name.
Yes.
Did you notice he looked down?
I looked down. I have a problem with names. I have a problem with names on live television.
I'm on your show a lot.
I know, that's right, that's right.
Even worse.
And I do have a shrine in my office.
But I was on your show when the guy was like, who was it? Remember the lady? He was like, the lady at the other end of the camera.
Yeah, we edited that out.
But you were also on Special Report, too.
Yes, that's true.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, you know, why not create a host? Pixar, hologram, the whole damn thing.
Yeah, well, there you go. I don't care about the Oscars. What I do care about, which I want the Oscars to continue because I love the fashion segment at the beginning. I watch the Oscars because I'm so girly. Like, I love seeing the women coming out in the gowns. I love the earrings and the fashion and the hair.
Why does it have to be girls?
Yeah,
Because
Greg
you
likes
guys-
watching the women come out, too.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I like watching the girls.
So
Guy fashion's
you're so
boring.
cis-normative. Why can't the men wear the dresses?
I actually don't know what cis-normative is. Am I supposed
Oh,
to know?
now you don't even know what that
I
is.
know.
Great.
Wow. I'm done.
Gee,
Bye.
I guess you can't host the Oscars.
One likes me.
Yeah, I like you.
I think what bugs me is we're witnessing the death of forgiveness for mistakes. Like, I know you guys did the segment yesterday about the Heisman Trophy winner about a tweet from when he was 14.
Right.
And it's like Kevin Hart, you know, he already apologized, and then he had to apologize again. Where are the comedians?
Well, no, I think Kevin Hart, by the way, you said Kevin Hart bailed. I don't think Kevin Hart bailed on them. I think they were very reluctant to defend Kevin Hart.
That's
so
true.
he said he's not going to feed the social media frenzy.
But then he apologized again.
Well, he apologized, but you know what? It wasn't a real apology. I think it was sincere in the sense that he said he evolved. And lots of people have evolved on this question of homosexuality in public life. Right. So what's the big deal here once he said that? But the way that the Twitter social media universe works is it's unending and it is unforgiving.
Right.
But I will say that in response to your idea that we give Max Headroom the job, I think that it would be interesting.
Would that be the highest rated, though, ever?
Of course it would be. That's why I say it would be. But you'd have to have like a computer graphics, and I suspect, to play to Morgan's theme, have the person dress in unusual ways and say edgy things, right?
Yes, yes.
You know, we could go back to like Red Fox and Mitch. Who's that great comedian, Mitch?
Hedberg? He's
Mitch
dead.
Hedberg, yeah.
But
That's what I said, just like Red
holograms.
Fox, right. You know how they, in fact, we were at the Reagan Library the other day, and our friend Brett Barron and Chris Wallace and I, and they have now Reagan as a hologram. Like, you know how Michael Jackson's in Vegas? Yeah, they got Reagan as a hologram.
What about Howard Stern?
Ooh, that would be fun.
Would be great.
But that's the precise opposite.
He'd never survive.
You can't do it.
Have you listened to his radio show lately? I listen to it all the time.
And
he gets away with, like,
I thought you were so
nobody
girly
gets
a
away
minute
with it.
ago.
I am. I like the fashion.
No.
you
The
see the
girly
lie
thing
detector
about
test on
listening to
high-pitch Eric?
Howard Stern go after women.
I love how we're now talking about the Howard Stern
You
show.
can be feminine and still like Howard Stern.
No, I'm sure, but I'm just thinking, boy, for a woman to hear this kind of talk.
She's got a wide range of interests.
She does.
Trust me, I've heard sailors say a lot worse.
I think we need to bring forgiveness back.
I
We have to
agree.
make forgiveness
Well,
hit.
honestly, my point was like 3 weeks ago we had Dan Crenshaw on
Right.
Saturday Night Live, and everyone said that's the model for how we should handle it.
And then everybody
I
forgot.
have something to raise.
Sure.
Today there was a case, right, in Texas. A guy attacked a woman, right, and then the judge says $400, you know, in some communities. I'm like, that's outrageous. I don't think I'm a hard man, but goodness gracious.
We're not talking about the same thing. He was accused of a crime, and he was
right, but
prosecuted.
forgiveness, he said, I just think that's one where I would say, you know what, hang and judge time.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about forgiving over a tweet. I think they're different.
A tweet. Oh, okay.
A little bit different.